Hello! I hope everyone had a good Passover. Let's get started. The big, hot, contentious food argument in North America is pizza, usually. It's how good pizza doesn't exist outside of certain sections of the country and how big those sections are. And then if you're really getting into the weeds, New York versus Chicago versus Detroit versus St. Louis. And as an expat New Yorker living in Texas, I have to say this. It's bullshit. Now, it may have been true 10, 20 years ago, but these days, you can find cromulent to good pizza pretty much anywhere. I realize this is an extremely subjective take, but if you give me something that's bread with some sauce and some cheese on it, 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna be pretty happy with it. I mean, there's a reason bad pizza will get you through times with no sex better than bad sex will get you through times with no pizza, is a whole quote. That's a real thing, right? That is a real thing, right? No. I hold my New Yorker food ire for the vilest of offenses. Shitty bagels. The opinions expressed in this video are my own. They do not represent my employer, my household, my parents, my cats, all dogs, or some fish. 100% Joel by volume, your mileage may vary. Enjoy responsibly. Friends, it's 2021. There is no reason for bagels to be shitty anymore. There just isn't. Is it the New York water? No, that's a myth. And they'll try and sell you that lie about New York pizza crust too. And if you truly believe this, the esteemed bageleries of Montreal would like to have a word. There's one weird trick. Bakers hate him. Guys, the secret is you gotta boil it before you bake them. When you boil them before you bake them, it sets the crust in such a way that they don't puff up. It puts like a shell on it. That's why bagels have that very nice, delicious crust. And that is necessary for good bagels. I mean, look, it's science. You don't have to take my word for it. And there is nothing sadder than being told you're gonna be served a bagel and instead receiving just sad, round bread. This kind of food crime is usually found in places like college cafeterias, hospital food carts, and areas of the country where I would be like the first Jew a lot of people met. You don't want to get a bagel there. Just don't. It's a bad plan. But like I said, it's 2021. There's too many food blogs and TikToks and YouTube channels and rants like this one for shitty bagels to be acceptable anymore. Just say no to shitty bagels. Look, I get it. It's like how there's a compelling reason to not get tacos too far north of I-10. Yeah, it makes sense that you wouldn't want to get a bagel too far outside of a historically Jewish enclave. But just as you can find pretty decent tacos further and further north these days, so too can you find good bagels farther and farther away from places like New York, New Jersey, Montreal. And it's very nice to see, I have to say. There are plenty of transplanted New Yorkers, or just general bread enthusiasts, who know better and want better. And also, good bagels are just a click away, honestly. If you've made it this far, congratulations, it's time for the rankings. Yes, that's true. I have put together a ranking, a tier ranker, of my favorite bagels. This list is extremely biased. Look, I've only had so many bagels in so many places. But now I bring you my choices. Up at the top, you've got Jumbo Bagels, the Upper East Side stalwart. This is the bagel I grew up eating, and therefore is the bagel by which all others are measured. I'm sure there's plenty of better bagels, but this is the OG to me. Up next, you have Esa Bagel, another East Side goat. True story. A couple Christmases ago, I went to Esa Bagel to get a dozen bagels, and when I got there, just the line was just out the door, down the block. And while I was waiting in the line monitor asked if I was getting a to-go order or buying a dozen. When I said I was getting a dozen, I was whisked inside so fast my head spun. Within like 3 minutes, I had a dozen bagels just ready to go. So if you're ever there, and you don't feel like waiting in line, maybe just get a dozen bagels and go make your own dang sandwich. Up next, we have the first wild card. Hot Bagel Shop in Houston, Texas. Yes, that's right, I said Houston, Texas. If you told me 10 years ago that one of my favorite bagel places in the world was Houston, Texas, I would have laughed at you. Until I had a hot bagel from Hot Bagel Shop, and holy shit. Also, they have bialys. Don't know what a bialy is? Stick around after the rankings and I'll tell you. Up next, we have St. Viator Bagels from Montreal, Quebec. Yes, that's right, up in Canada. Like a fool, when I visited Montreal in college, I had no idea that Montreal had its own long and proud bagel tradition. Instead, I ate about my body weight in poutine. I do also recommend doing that. But anyway, thanks to Goldbelly last year during quarantine, I ordered myself some St. Viator bagels, and they are worth it, and they are as good as the hype. If you're looking for something different, definitely order them. Up next, we have Russ and Daughters, the Lower East Side Goat. Come for the bagels, stay for the lox, and the knishes, and the merch, and the, they've got it all, folks. All right, time for the next tier. These are bagels I still love, just maybe not necessarily bagels I, have shipped across the country or, international borders. Canada counts as an international border. It is another country, but, geopolitics. Anyway. First up, you've got Nervous Charlie's. These guys are in Austin, Texas, but the owner is from Long Island, and the dough is shipped from New York? That feels like cheating, but they're 20 minutes from my house, so they still get my love. Also, their logo and their mascot is super cute. Look at him. That's Nervous Charlie. Next, your random corner bodega. Look, every New Yorker has bagel opinions. Doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter what your background is, we know what the fuck a good bagel is. Every bodega owner knows that if they sell bad bagels, they won't be selling much of anything after long. Up next is H&H Bagels. I might get some heat for this one, I'll admit it. They're fine, they're good, I like them. They're just not great. I also might have OD'd on them in high school because I went to high school like around the corner from one of their storefronts. I ate a lot of bagels. Like a lot. Next tier down, the In a Pinch. Alright, look, now we get down to the national brands, and I've really got to give these two their props. Both Dunkin' Donuts and Bruegger's make a perfectly cromulent bagel that is clearly both boiled and then baked. Dunkin' and Bruegger's are made by people who know what bagels are supposed to taste like and followed through on that. Next tier down, you've got the Cornish Telfin, also known in Southern English as bless their hearts. Oh God, Einsteins, I appreciate what you're doing. I appreciate your trying. But for the love of God, please give the people at Dunkin' and Bruegger's a call. Maybe they can help you out. Look, everything you need to know can be explained by this ad I saw at one of their locations once. Sorry to the graphic designers in my audience. I had to see this, now you do too. And now, here we are at the bottom tier. You knew who this was going to be. You knew this was going to be Lenders and Thomas's. Lenders and Thomas's, you have a lot to answer for. Lenders especially. Sir, Mr. Harry Lender was a Polish immigrant who worked at a bagel bakery in Passaic, New Jersey. Sir, you have no excuse for the sad bagels you have inflicted upon this world. Wait, Bimbo Bakeries USA owns them now? Things become clear. While doing secondary research for this video, I discovered that in addition to Lenders being acquired by Bimbo USA last year, there was another, larger escandalo. The Escandalo de Pan, the Epondalo. You ready? Bimbo USA owns both Lenders and Thomas's. Also, you can't find Lenders on the Bimbo USA website anywhere, but since they were a 2020 acquisition, Maybe they just haven't updated the page yet. I'm not even sure what to say about one company owning the two worst mass-produced bagel brands, but it certainly feels like quite the stunning revelation. All of these bagels, however, come in second to the best example of the concept of the bagel, the Bialy. Originally known as the Bialystock bagel, not that one, Bialys are lighter, they're more sourdough, they've got onion baked into the center, and they're sort of both somehow fluffier and crispier at the same time. I really love them. I prefer them to bagels. And in an interesting side note, I found that the St. Viator bagels are bagels for people who prefer Bialys. So there's my hot tip. And also, Hot Bagel Shop in Houston sells them. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this very silly look at the bagels of North America. If you have bagel opinions or any shops you want people to know about, go ahead and leave that in the comments. I'd love to hear about it. Please tell me all your bagel opinions. I genuinely want to hear them. And, after you leave that comment, maybe give me a like and a subscribe. That'd be pretty cool. I've included a bunch of links to other great videos about bagels, so go ahead and check them out too. They are videos from channels that are much more popular and better known than mine. I just really like them. They don't need my help. Find me elsewhere on the web at the links below, including my Patreon and my Ko-Fi, in case you wanted to fund my next bagel order. See you next time. Also, cinnamon raisin bagels are great with scallion cream cheese. Bye!